Hallelujah.
Okay, thank you, Dennis.
All right, I'm gonna run home real quick, let the dogs out, and then I'll come back.
Thank you, Dennis.
Okay.
Elisa was on business last week, came back with COVID. So I have tested negative, but she still tested slightly positive this morning. So
Yeah,
do the precaution.
you're a good man, Charlie Brown.
There's just a lot
Make
of
sure that's
things
widely
going
publicized.
around now,
Yeah, there's a lot of.
just all kinds of respiratory.
Yeah.
So, sorry that the agenda is a draft that I quickly photocopied in case, but the agenda part's good.
I just think it's always a miracle that, there's one in good order. That's all. I don't do agendas well.
So, hi, Lizzie. Hi. How are you?
I should have put my foot up and beg forgiveness. It's not been up enough. If I don't look like a fish, I don't know what looks like a fish. This is Hickville over here.
Did y'all hear about that cow over at Morris Farm?
I did not. There's cow over at Morris Farm
Oh,
doing something.
the cow had a calf.
Oh,
You know what they called the cow?
oh God, what?
Decaffeinated.
Did not see that coming at all. No, didn't see that. Hmm.
Who said Bonneville dead?
Gosh. I almost read an article this last week that said we all need to be stand-up. We all need to be stand-up, that it would make us feel better or something like that.
It was improv, particularly. wasn't it?
Improv
Yeah.
was another one.
Hey, Terry, can I just speak? And I've got somebody here on Zoom. Hi, Matt. Can you hear?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Wow.
It's actually very good, so.
I'm not on the big screen there, am I?
No, you've got us, yeah, me either.
Not yet.
Uh-oh,
Yeah, thank you for coming.
my pleasure.
For a couple of others to arrive and for Dennis to return, and then we'll get started.
Sounds good.
I sent around a email with the agenda in it, right? Do you have a copy of the agenda?
Yeah, let me pull that up.
Okay, we're just gonna try to follow you.
Sounds good. Got it.
Great. Terry, was Cassie found a wish tree this year or something somewhere for?
I have not seen anything.
I think it might have fallen out of,
Yeah,
off the radar since COVID. That'd be my suspicion.
exactly.
Some of his toys for tots, but.
Need to maybe get that back up, but meanwhile, we've got the Toys for Tots over here.
Yeah.
That we do with someone.
Yeah, it's the Marines and the
With the
Legion.
Marine.
Will come and collect it soon. At least they used to. The little elves will come around.
Do they distribute here in Wiscasset though?
I don't know where all the toys go. I don't know if they go to Augusta and then get distributed from there. I really don't know.
Yeah,
Ron would know. My friend Ron Lehman would probably know.
you know, one of the best distribution centers I know of is up here at St. Philip's. And I wouldn't be surprised if they're putting something together. I should ask Tom Junker. He would know. Charmin and what's her name? You know, the people at St. Philip's.
Jane?
Charmin and the gal who really runs things. Both of them do. Whatever. I'm not thinking,
Rich and-
you could say, oh, we need this, and it'll be done tomorrow, you know? So. All right.
Did we have one or two people who weren't able to attend at all tonight? Is that-
There's one fellow is on an airplane and another fellow's gonna phone in, he said.
Eric,
Eric's on a plane and Don Davis should be phoning in. Don, are you there? Or maybe it's just worker.
Is Christopher the person who is on, was on the plane?
No, Eric.
Eric.
This is Christopher.
Oh, you're Christopher. Hi,
This is Lizzie.
I'm Lizzie.
Lizzie, what is your last name?
Woods.
Woods. Okay, I could have figured that out probably.
Yes,
but-
there's only one Lizzie.
yes.
I tell you. I know you sent that agenda,
For tonight,
yeah,
Yeah.
so that I could get on the,
I can always go look up a couple more copies.
Yeah, it's,
you are so kind.
I should
I
have
just
it
didn't
on my
want to type
phone
all of that in. I
someplace.
wanted to go
Hi.
click on the-
Hey. The working.
This is it.
Okay, great. Sorry, I'm late.
That's it. We're still waiting for others, so no worries.
Okay, this is where
You can sit wherever, we just want everyone to be comfortable, so
Okay.
don't comfy chairs.
that is very nice.
David, that's Lizzie.
I'm Lizzie.
Hi, Lizzie, Dave, staff. Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
And
Yes,
we met before, right?
I
Yes.
sent you a location when you were down at the airport.
That's right. Nice to see you.
Good to see you, sir.
Do you know Susan Robson?
Yes, we met before.
And
Nice to see you.
Me too.
The agenda.
Thank you. Yep, I actually brought. Good.
this is Christopher.
Hi, Christopher.
Hey, good to see
You
you.
look familiar. Have we met before?
You can recognize me? from just this-
Yeah. I'm that good, right? Not really.
Not sure. No, as I mentioned to Terry, my wife was traveling in business last week, came back with a little COVID. So she
No.
tested, I've been testing negative, but I'm at home with her, staying masked at home, so I'll just protect you all. if I may.
I feel
Appreciate that.
protected.
And then we've got another member on Zoom. His name is Matt Hebert. How do you pronounce your last name, Matt?
Matt Haberly.
Eberly?
Okay.
So you can see us, but everyone cannot see you unless I turn. the-
Oh, wow. Okay. Yeah, it's cool. And when people speak, it focuses on them, so I can actually see everyone as they speak up. Pretty impressive.
Huh. I'm waiting for the host message.
You know what? That might be everybody. Because Derek and Dawn are in Florida or away. So we might get started. Dennis is coming back to help with what we're expecting out of this group and like that. So, what I thought we'd do is just start, let's see, I want to thank everybody for applying. And this is really important. It's a big step for the Waterfront Committee because things have not, well, we need some help. We need people to do tasks, and we wanted some stakeholders from the community, you know, to have a part and a voice, you know, not that you don't have a voice anyway, but, you know, to really just get in there and be active. So I really appreciate people donating their time and wanting to see us advance. So that's great. So how about we go around? Let me start with my friend Dick. This is Dick Forrest to my right. He's another Waterfront Committee member. You want to tell us a little bit about Dick?
Let's see, both. I've been on about 5 years.
It's closer to 8 or 9. But it's been a long.
You're old, huh?
We proposed several projects along over the years, and we have very little to show for it. It's, as one select person said to us one time, I'm impressed that you keep coming back with more suggestions and recommendations, and unfortunately, we keep shooting them down. That was nice of them to say. And so it's been difficult, and I don't think we found the right solution yet as to how to get this information to the select board, budget committee, and the town to have it go forward. And that's one of the reasons for having you all here to help this process and perhaps refine it so that we can achieve some results. Like I say, we keep coming up with good ideas, and we don't make much progress.
However, I just want to quickly chime in. We do have a change of leadership in the past 2 years, so change of leadership, change of select board, and that's a good thing.
We're ready to go. We
Lizzie?
are.
I've been, I'm sort of new to Wiscasset. I've only been here I've actually been fully moved for just a year and 2 days, even though we moved last summer. I have had a boat since 1989. I got my first boat and have mostly been cruising, power boating and sailboating, and cruising from Long Island to, Booth Bay Harbor is as far north as I've gotten in a boat. During that time, I belonged to the Power Squadron in Worcester, Mass for 20 years and was helped out with a lot of education. So a lot of new boaters. And also I handled all of their meetings and activities for 3 years, and I was a commander for 2 years. And after that, I said, okay, I think I'll go back to boating. I own a small business, so I'm used to money things. I'm used to safe boating. I'm used to boating. I'm used to cruising. I know what I would look for when we were cruising. We like to go different places. We like we got out to Nantucket, Martha's Vineyard, Cape Cod, just Block Island, and so I think that you've got a really wonderful place here, and I'm sort of excited to be able to help out with good ideas, because I think the ideas I've seen even last year were good, but there's also I've seen that that Wiscasset has a really strong budget committee, and unless the money makes sense, nothing's going to happen.
So I bet you would know what a cruising boater would want to see coming to Wisconsin.
I do.
Good.
I do.
That's excellent.
I think we
Excellent. All right. Yeah, so I'm David Stack. I'm the CEO of Peregrine Turbine Technologies here in town. I employ a small group of engineers who are developing new technology here. I've been in Wiscasset for a good long time business-wise. I'm not a resident here, but I moved my business here in I think 2006, if I remember right, and moved into the FBO building at the airport. Shortly after that, I took over the FBO operations at the airport, and during that time frame, was involved in the founding of the Wiscasset Chamber of Commerce. So I served on the board there for a number of years, and was chairman of the board, I think the second one. And so I think I have a demonstrated track record of interest in this town and helping move things along, appointing people and being community minded. We're still obviously members of the chamber. And so I'm happy to be involved here. We're also owners of waterfront property down behind Mason Station. So I've kind of a vested interest in this, and I've got some ideas and visions that I'd like to see come past too.
Nice. Thank you. Welcome.
Thanks.
Larry, we're kind of going around introducing ourselves, who we are.
I'm Larry, I'm the chief from the Harbor Master.
That's a heck of a job.
Can do.
Speak for itself.
I'm Terry Heller, I know of them. Selectmen. All ears, dying to do the whole waterfront. Mm.
Christopher Hart. We've been here a brief while. We actually brought our property just 3 years ago. I'm not the full resident yet, but we are moving here completely next year. We live just up the street here, and our property is on Pavel Cove. So, landowner interests there as well. I'm a yacht club member, but my vessel would probably fit on this table. So I have a couple of kayaks down at the yacht club, and took some sailing lessons at the yacht club last year, but don't have any larger boat than that. Yeah, I'm just eager to see. There's so much potential on this waterfront, and I'm eager to help in any way that I can to see that the town gets what they want out of it.
Nice. Thank you, Chris.
I'll also add that I've been professionally, I'm a marketing writer. So
Perfect.
If so, yeah, if sentences needed to be crafted, I would be glad to help. with that.
Grant Wrightington,
I've not done grant writing. I've done 100,000 RFPs in my life.
there you go.
Thank you and welcome. So this is perfect. We're going around the, we have someone on Zoom, so you can hear him, but you can't see him. Well, should I just, can I? Okay, I'm gonna turn you around now.
Get the course.
There you go. Great.
Okay, Matt, your turn.
All right, Matt Haberly. I actually grew up in Wiscasset, returned back here in 2020 from New York City for 15 years. Work in technology, and I'm a boater. I'm also a member of the Wiscasset Yacht Club, sailing and power boating. My wife and I are building a house downtown right now on Middle Street. So we're within a couple blocks of the waterfront. My grandfather, I think, was on the Waterfront Committee as well. So I might be the second generation involved. His name was Roy Farmer.
Oh,
So a little bit of history there. And my mother and father-in-law run Sheepscape Marine Services. So, I have them to lean on for potential advice and things like that. So I also have that to offer potentially as a sounding board for ideas and things. They're very good thinkers, and oftentimes have good advice when it comes to pier building and stuff like floats and things like that, so. And I'm just, willing to chip in and step up, take on tasks when it's appropriate and when I'm capable of doing so.
Awesome, thank you.
Sure.
Welcome.
Thank you.
So Don Davis and Eric Cousineau are two other members that can't be here this evening. They came to our waterfront meeting last week and, shared their interest and are looking forward to the group as well. So I think, let's see. I think the timing's good. Dennis just sort of reappeared. And Dennis, would you like to talk a little bit about the history, like how we ended up here?
Sure. So, one thing that I discovered pretty early on is we have a nice harbor, and it's underutilized. We could do a lot more with it than what we're doing with it. But we seem to have problems getting to that point. We come up with the ideas, but then we can't seem to get them over the finish line to where we need it to be. And so I said, well, maybe if we broaden the committee a little bit with this subcommittee, and we got some various different backgrounds of people and a better cross section of the town in general, we can draw on some expertise, marketing, or engineering, or RFPs, some things that the Waterfront Committee talks so very with, things that I just don't have time to deal with. And if we get a better cross section of representation of the town, we might be able to push this forward a little better. So that was kind of the idea behind the working group, that these 5 people have been working their fingers to the bones to try to get stuff done here. Let's get them some help, and let's get some different perspectives on where we can go with this waterfront, because I do think we could do a whole lot more with it than what we're doing right now.
Perfect. Thank you. So that's how we evolved. Here we are tonight. So let's see, one of what we put in the paper was, what we're first looking for is the possibility of rebuilding or revamping our launch ramps and our seawall. They're crumbling, and they're at an insurance risk and like that. So that's like a priority project. I know I did get a piece of paper with the fellow from Bath on it, the Public Works Director, because he was responsible for the launch ramp at the south end of Bath, that rebuild. So that might be a resource. I got as far as getting the phone numbers and taking a picture. So I thought I'd just sort of pass that on and share it.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
What if you had to point to the top 10% reasons, as if there's much, why you haven't gotten past the gatekeepers on the budget committee? Is it just the money isn't available, or is it you don't have?
Might be able to explain some of that.
Okay.
Using this model here, and then flaws in it. This is the Main Street Pier. This is the lobster business, the jam, it was chamber business and all that. We proposed a bathroom building facility here with men's, women's, and handicapped access. We said that we could go all the way down to the pumping station that's down at the end of the street, and bring water from the Harbor Master House up. And we ended up with a price of over 100,000, because contractors in this particular case didn't know how to put a sump in and have alternating pumps go electrically and macerating pumps and the electrical and plus the building. And we got some prices from prefab buildings and all of that. And we presented that information and it went absolutely nowhere. We said we would like to connect the two piers, Main Street Pier and the Rec Pier, with this walkway and perhaps even put some vendors on that. And we didn't have a price on that. And so that went nowhere. We improved a bit by coming off this Rec Pier, some floats. And at the end of the floats, we proposed to put 14 slips for boats to tie up. Now, we got a grant and had something Dorsey, who was the other? Gartley and Dorsey, out of Camden, do the engineering on it. They took soundings, they took current readings, and they found that there was plenty of water to extend out from that. And they also said, all right, we should have the bathroom facilities. So we had shower, laundry, and electricity on the dock and water, all for $386,000 or something like that. And that went, now we researched that so much from Yarmouth to Camden, I believe. Every boatyard, every marine facility, we found out what they charge for year-round tie-up, what they had for overnight tie-ups, what they had for launching and storage. And we had just a whole pile of paper with all that information. And this went to the voters in June. And unfortunately, the budget committee all voted against it unanimously. And I'm of the opinion, and it's just my opinion, that they really didn't go through and read all our information, because we proposed a payback, a conservative payback of 6 to 7 years, because we were charging $80 a foot and times the length of your vessel for the year. And so that went nowhere because the voters rejected it. And we thought we really did our homework, but I don't think we got the budget committee on board. Now, between this pier, this commercial pier, Rec Pier, and the commercial pier is a walkway, a wooden walkway. And we need to build a seawall, concrete structure to prevent further erosion, because the parking lot is starting to collapse in this particular area. So that's one of the projects that we have as a priority, as well as the ramps and taking out that entire, what we used to call the town dock, and putting something else in there, like a floating dock, floats that will come up and down. And I'll stop there, but that's why all this whole area, in fact, I even talked to the DEP, and I said, could we fill this area in and put something here, not necessarily parking lot, maybe grass, whatever. And they said, well, that would be way down here in our priority. I said, what if we put pilings in it? Oh, well, that would be up here in our priority, because they're concerned with damage to, what do they call it, wildlife? And there's no clams there. And as far as I know, there's nothing that is harvestable. There's no worms there for people to harvest. So, but anyhow, I won't bore you with any more, but those were our approaches, and we failed.
So can I ask a question with that parking area?
Yeah.
Is that additional parking than what we have right down there?
Oh, yeah. This
So-
is,
I thought.
this is just a proposal. I mean, we may not want to do that, but there's 130 spaces
But doesn't
between the railroad tracks and this walkway. Right now, it's just mud and rocks.
Right, but the town doesn't own all that, does it? Doesn't Jody own a piece of that?
Yeah, they own, yes, and we talked about that, didn't we?
Yes, we do.
Yes, they do. They own the low tide.
That's one of the homeowners along on the other side of the tracks, I presume.
Yes.
So to kind of follow up on some of this a little bit. I think some of the concern for the budget committee, and I will admit I share this concern. One, we have the situation down there, we have things that we need to repair, and we haven't yet. So I think we were kind of maybe getting ahead of ourselves a little bit by expanding it and I'll say this about other municipally owned facilities, we're not good at taking care of things in this town. We want all of these things, but then we don't take care of them. And I think one of the fear with the budget committee is that we expand this off. We're putting on more infrastructure that we're already not taking care of and not producing the revenue that we need to help pay for it. And it's just become another burden to the taxpayer. And I think that was a lot of what I was getting out of this a little bit. So I think we just kind of back up a little bit and say, okay, what are the priorities we need to do to get this fixed, to get it where it should be presently, so that then we can build off of that. And I think that's where a lot of the concerns, and I share those concerns. I do not want to put more of a burden on the taxpayers in this town. And Dick is right. I think between Emily and the committee, they put a lot of effort into that last proposal, but the budget committee just did not feel that the return on the investment was fast enough. The revenue should have been higher. And I think it was a very conservative revenue estimate. I think it would have been higher. But so
Yeah. They
But-
did-
I was gonna say that now here we are today, we've changed our perspective a little bit, I think. To repair what we already have is good faith and good, I think it's a good idea. So that's why we thought, okay, we'll look at fixing our launch ramps. We've installed some cameras down there with a wonderful monitoring program. And get the launch ramps going and maybe be able to charge some launching fees because we know people come from other towns, launch their boat here and then go off somewhere else.
and don't pay
And, yeah. so-
because we don't charge it.
I was just gonna say, I've launched my boat many times down there. I hope you're not gonna tell me I was supposed to be paying. So I didn't see it.
We haven't, but we put the cameras up so we could get a sense of how many residents versus how many non-residents are using the facility. How many commercial boats, and I think one of the bigger ones for me is the commercial haulers that are making money launching boats on our launch ramps down there and beat the hell out of it and not paying us.
I asked Steve Erskine who he used that outfit, CW,
CWC.
and it cost him $695 to move his boat from Bradford Road, corner of Bradford and Lowell Town. To put it in, and $695 to haul it out. So,
It's a sailboat, though, right?
Yeah.
So they step the mast and everything.
yes,
That was CWC.
yes.
He treated us well with that sailboat he moved out for us. What was it, $300?
400. 400, yeah.
How much?
400.
Was there is there an opportunity for private-public collaboration on waterfront?
I think that's a conversation you guys need to have and see if that is a viable option. I think that would be a great conversation to have. Because that did itself come up in the budget committee. Should the town even be doing this, or should we just turn it over to a private entity and let them run a marina down? But wasn't a lot of this covered by a grant?
The engineering study to determine if it was feasible or not, and how many slips to put in, was covered by a grant.
Oh, studies.
And then we
And
can,
it's easy, I guess, to get grants for studies and engineering and things like that, as opposed to actual construction. But that's interesting what you said, Dennis, because we probably would not have submitted that request for the slips had we known the budget committee's feeling and yours about take care of what you got first and then proceed towards expansion.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I wasn't really up on what repairs really need to be done down there ahead of time, because
Because that makes so much sense.
I neglected to do my
That
homework.
makes a lot of sense.
But-
Well, some of that information came to light after the vote,
Right.
so.
I think right now we're at a place where we know what we want to do to fix things, and we're starting to get revenue because we have a very active harbor master who's bringing money in, and we can show there's money coming in, and as we fix these things, we can bring in even more money.
And that's exactly right. You know, the part-time harbor master that we had before, boats would tie up down there and nobody would collect the money that they were supposed to collect. You know, he's on top of it. And it is showing that there is potential there, okay? Look, we're not even really trying all that hard, and we're already doubling the revenue that we were getting from launching down there. So the potential is there. We need the right people in the right positions, which is, you know, him and you all. And I think we can push this forward.
Thank you, that launches my comment, and that is, I don't see anything that has been done so far as a loss. I'm not just Pollyanna looking at the glass half full. I am acknowledging that a lot has been learned in this process.
That's exactly right.
And by God, we almost got that vote in spite of the budget committee. There is a lot of momentum that is built to this moment and has led to the founding of this group that you need to know that there is energy behind what you're taking on. We haven't lost anything in the study that was done. It was done beautifully with the county. But we did learn a lot, and I think we can build on that. That's the whole point. We build on this momentum and also the knowledge that we've learned, and knowing now that we also need to pay attention to what's been happening at the waterfront, take care of the structures, you know, repair the deteriorating piers, but at the same time, find a way to build in a revenue generating project that will help pay for it. If the town can say, okay, if we're gonna do this, let's have something that, you know, doesn't just feed off of the taxpayers. Which is why the project that they turned down narrowly is still a viable project. We need to look at it again and do the things, repair that report so that it reflects not such a conservative estimate. I think it was way off.
That was the.
So
That was proposed.
we can support what you come up with.
The additional 6 years.
And I hope that everybody has an opportunity to review that particular project, sort of alongside the other priorities that you've got. And I'm gonna suggest, Susie, that you kind of see this as tracking, you know, in parallel tracks. One is to take a look at the whole waterfront, you know, dream a little. And then the other is take these priority projects along at the same time. So it might be a little bifurcated process, but it might be more satisfying that way. There's a lot of work to be done.
And may I ask, is there any overlap between the White's Island initiative and what has been discussed here?
Yeah.
Because this sounds like it's all, you know, here, not there.
Yeah, there is some overlap, but really Parks and Rec is handling that grant, and I think when things gel a little more, then we'll be invited into that conversation.
But I do think that is gonna be a harder sell to the town.
Yep.
Based on what we've seen already, in opposition to doing that there, so. I would prefer that well, I'd say I prefer, it's not up to me, but I don't think early on, trying to incorporate the two together is gonna help you with this. So I would kind of let the White's Island thing, my advice is to kind of let the White's Island thing drift off on its own for a little bit. It'll be a solid plan for.
So where are we at with the ramp itself? We're moving forward with fixing the ramp, correct?
I haven't done anything with it yet because I don't really know what to do to it. Are we going to concrete it? Are we going to put the sectionals like it's down at the old Ferry Road ramp or? We need to.
Concrete, right? Those are concrete?
Those are concrete.
Yeah.
We need to figure out what to do with it so I can write an RFP for it.
So that's what you folks are for.
Yeah.
Helping us gather some information, document. I don't know if we don't know if we need to contact it, if it's complicated enough that we're better off hiring an engineering firm to come up with the right information. We just don't know. So,
I mean, whatever you put in for concrete, it's gotta be, I mean, there's some pretty big vessels that get launched on it. So it's gonna be rugged, but, so we're not back in the same boat we are now.
right, so they may need fill and.
I was kind of under pressure with the hopes that it would be done by the spring.
Well, we carried over money in the budget to do it, based on what Davies Allen had to tell me when he went down and kind of did an evaluation of it for me, but then he got talking about using asphalt, and I don't think legally you can use asphalt down there, so I appreciated his help in the matter, but I think we need somebody to do a little more in-depth as to look at it and say, this is what's wrong with it to start with. And this is what you need to do to fix it. We need to haul out what's there and replace it over the top of it. I don't know. So we may, it may be an engineer that needs to actually.
And you may be
look at
better
that
off,
so that we do it right in the first time.
then you might be better off if you're gonna pour concrete for that wall, do all the concrete work at the same time.
That makes sense. So that's what you folks are kind of tasked with, finding out, I don't know what other towns have done.
If you guys haven't gone down to look at where the float, the walkway, whatever it is by the ramp,
like
to see how,
seawall.
what bad shape it's in. You should go look at it.
That and the seawall that it mentioned is now starting to erode the parking lot. We've really got to do something about that. The insurance company was not pleased with the walkway between the two piers, the condition of that, or the pier that's down at the launch ramps. So
Would it be possible to get a copy, like an electronic document of the project that was voted on?
Yes,
That'd be
yeah,
great.
I think that. I can send it to all of you folks.
Give you an example of the money that can come in from tying up. The Virginia is going to come here. If you're not familiar with the Virginia, that's Maine's first ship. We recreated the vessel that was built at Popham Colony in 1607. She was launched in June and went out on the first sea trial this morning, about noon time in Bath. Everything went quite well. She now plans to come to Wiscasset on the 12th, Monday, the 12th of December. And she's going to tie up where Jody's Lobster Boat is right now. And when we did that study, we determined that $80 a foot was what a vessel should pay to tie up at a slip for all year round. So I used the $80 per foot times 50 feet for Virginia, and that's $4,000. And because they're only going to be here for 5 months, I figured that was half a year. So they're going to pay us $2,000 when they bring the vessel in. And they're also going to pay for electricity, which is, what do they call this?
The pedestal?
Pedestal, 50 amp pedestal that has not been put in yet due to lack of availability of materials, such as everybody gets into nowadays when you try to do something. And so that's just an example of what revenue can come into the town.
Next Monday.
Have they put in the temporary yet? The temporary electricity?
No, that's what I was just saying.
Yeah, well, I know we couldn't get the pedestal permanent stuff, but they were gonna do something temporary.
Well, I guess all we can do is run some extension cords like we did when the Providence was here. We'll do that until the electrical supply is in place. But I wanted to ask you, Mr. Hubblemaster, if you would consider the fact that they're going to put a pedestal in, which will be here year round.
I think I know your question.
I did mention it to Kelly the other day.
Yeah.
Could we reduce that amount of the bill from Mr. Carlton based on the fact that that pedestal will be used, will be a permanent installation and be used by vessels all year round? And it will only be used by Virginia when she's here in the wintertime.
Yeah.
Yeah, didn't we decide that at our last meeting?
No, we decided to talk about it. Because Kelly was there and she,
I
Oh,
mean,
that's
I
right.
did
That's right.
pass it along.
That's right.
the town's gonna own it, we're gonna be able to generate revenue from it.
just a consideration. I'm not saying you should, I'm
We
just saying,
can, we can negotiate.
yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Nice.
And they feel you don't care to and whatever.
But we'll see what it comes up with for cost.
Yeah.
Because we can use the grant limit pump out, you get used for some of that.
Make sure that you get your check as soon as they arrive.
So we're gonna be, this will be their base from there on.
No, that's just winter storage because Wiscasset is a hurricane hole and there's no ice. Whereas in Kennebec, where they are now, near the bridge, ice, in fact, I'm surprised we don't have any ice coming down yet. But it comes down on the surface and chews up your water line. And because it's a wooden boat, the environmentalists push to get the river clean. And it's a very clean, the worms have come back. So when you take the bottom thing off, the worms get in and destroy your plankton. Unless they're gonna haul out for the winter, which they might do at Robin Hood. Wiscasset would be their location for the winter. That's why they're willing to pay for the electrical.
That's a Carvel plank.
It's tough to haul wooden wood for the winter because it dries out and then leaks and then you gotta put it back in again and wait for the wood to get wet again. So it's
Well, we can be creative and spray salt water on the inside
yeah.
and on the outside.
Yeah.
Okay, so where to go from here? I think you folks sort of know what we're looking for. What we were thinking when this group forms is you would have a member of the Waterfront Committee be part of your group, kind of like Terry from the Select Board as part of our Waterfront Committee. And one thing, just for reference, and just to help out. But what we'd like you to do is have your own sort of autonomy. And you report to the Waterfront Committee when you want it, when you're ready. And it would be good if you need to take minutes. Someone needs to take minutes for any decisions that are made. And any of the research that you do, just make sure while you're out asking, out asking for information, that you don't commit to any money. So.
You're not gonna give us a checkbook?
Please. So I've got a town Wiscasset committee handbook I'm happy to share. And I don't know if you folks want, where you want to maybe go from here. This is sort of our presentation and
Elect some officers?
do you feel like that you need officers?
You need officers?
You need like a chair.
We feel
We
you
need
need
a
to
chair and
be
a
that
secretary.
formal. We should at least have at least a chair, but.
Yeah.
The rest of it is pretty informal. I mean, you're not a slightly creating committee, so.
Well, I kind of think too, maybe
I'm
wait
glad to
till
be
you,
described, secretary or what have you.
so, is everyone okay with that, Matt?
Okay with what? Sorry, I didn't hear that last part.
Is Christopher has volunteered to be the secretary and take the minutes.
Yep.
Sound okay?
Fine
Okay,
with me.
okay. And if you want to wait to decide on a chair until you've got your whole group together, when the other two that are missing, maybe come back, maybe we should.
Make the secretary do everything until secretary. How's that?
Very nice.
So, I made a little table of each of your phone numbers and emails so that you can get in touch with each other. I don't know who wants to pursue your next
You
meeting.
need that.
So what's the next thing that anybody is expecting? Is there, when does the waterfront group meet? When is there any date coming up, pending date?
Okay, so we meet next Tuesday here, 5 o'clock. We meet on a Tuesday night, so we try to, that the select board does not meet, so that we can have Dennis and Larry and Carrie.
You guys meet here.
Yes, unless we get bumped, and then we usually go over to the fire. We've got a meeting room over there. So that's where we meet. You just have to sign up, look at the schedule, and I don't know if you talked to Robin, I used to talk to Kathy about choosing a time and a place to meet, making sure you've got the space.
Where do you think the appropriate frequency of meeting would be for this working group? Thoughts on that? Depends, I
We
guess.
were kind of hoping that we might have some information by the middle to end of January.
Okay.
At least like some sort of direction, because that's when the budget meeting will, everything starts gelling
Mm.
that way. And Dennis needs to set aside any money, anything to happen. That's what I was thinking, I don't.
So
know.
that's sort of our target then, is make sure.
Yeah,
that
so,
those are in
You
place.
know, how many meetings do you think, you know, you could assign some tasks, right? I mean, how many meetings do you think you need? We meet sort of every other week
Mhm.
right now. We only have to meet whenever, so right now it's every other week. So I don't think folks want to meet every other week, once a month. You're welcome to use this, you can Zoom.
So did I hear correctly? So the priority is the ramp and the seawall?
So is that our first
That's your first
priority?
task.
Is, okay, good.
Materials, how much is it gonna cost?
Okay.
What does the committee need to know?
I think even, and I don't know, but I think even if you called or got in touch with an engineering company and asked them what to, you know, what their process is.
Okay.
And just find out, maybe they'll say, well, you know, for $2,500, we'll do blah, blah, blah. I don't know how that works.
So just for example, last fall, I heard about a grant, like those concrete things that Dennis was talking about. They're, I don't know how wide they are, maybe, or how long they are, but they're both that wide and they go in the ramp and they're ridged. Well, I heard that there was a grant out there for that. And so Cal and I researched it. We researched it in what, September, October, and the deadline was May. So it's like, we hear things, but we always hear it way after the fact.
Yeah.
So.
Well, I think you folks are welcome to contact Lincoln County Planning, because we have a contract with them, to just ask them for what, you know.
Dennis was saying that he needs enough information to be able to put out a request for quote.
Right.
Do you have a contact there?
Yeah, Mary Ellen.
Oh, Mary Ellen.
Barnes, yeah.
Okay, great.
We might be able to get Callie and I've asked Callie to be my deputy harbor master. And the select board's gonna approve it, but if her and I go to that training in March, that might be where we get a lot of resources, a lot of information. on
Sure.
stuff.
I mean, I think the problem is this information is clearly out there. we just can't get our hands on it in a timely fashion, and we just don't have time. And it's like, by the time that we think about it and have 5 minutes to do it, we're too late. So if there's a way to get that information and have it, and even if it is or too late, but at least have it so that it won't be next time we get around to it, and, you know, and all of that. Where this information is.
So if you missed the grant deadline for the concrete pieces, whatever that is, for this year, doesn't that come around again?
It does, but we have to know when it opens.
Right.
I mean, it's just,
So it could
I mean,
be
it's like
like
the
now.
state, it's like all state grants. No, it's not open right now. I keep checking.
Oh, you keep checking, which is great.
But hopefully we'll get that information in March.
Right.
What
Right.
department is that through?
It was like something having to do with water, believe it or not. I couldn't tell you off the top of my head.
What's that through DOT or something?
No, but along those lines, it was definitely with the state, and it was like maybe parks and waterways or public waterways or public lands, something. I just Googled it, is how I found it in the
Yeah,
first
that
place.
makes sense, because you could put that in on the lake. Right.
Yes, and it encompassed all any kind of water that existed. And there was also stuff in there about like if you wanted to get on public, like on someone's private land and you wanted to get public access, all of that. So it has something to do with lands and waterways.
Do we have a list of accepted contractors, or is that pretty much wide open?
Dennis had somebody that he deals with. Whoever gave him that initial price, right?
So that was.
Oh, the
David's-
Gartley
Oh, for the launch
endorsement?
ramp, I got that in that price from Dave's out.
And Brock, doesn't Brock do a lot of stuff too?
Yes.
Proc recommended Gartley endorsed it to us, and we used them to do the study for the slips. And I think they did a great job.
They're out of Camden.
Yep, and I think they may have an office in James Valley too.
Do you have,
But if it's,
again, if you could send a contact for that as well.
well, that's what I was thinking. Is it okay if I send them contact information for all the people that we've used, like Mary Ellen's and Callie's email? and-
We just need to be careful about Mary Ellen and some of these places that are start charging us fees for, you know, we get so much free service from Lincoln County Planning that there are some things we have to pay for,
Okay.
so.
That's important to know.
So I think it'd be helpful for Callie and I to have their contact information. That way, if we find information, we can funnel it right to them and not go through 15 people for us to use.
No problem. I did that very well.
But yes, they can't do the job if they can't talk to people, so.
I think it'd also be helpful to have the contact information for Tom Joyce, the chairman of the budget committee.
Okay.
And pretty quick, begin that process of getting to know him and introducing him to what it is that you're looking for, which would be, what does the budget committee want to know?
I think that's a good idea, because we haven't done that before.
Exactly.
So that almost seems more like when they come back with some info, we should be like a united front.
Well, we don't know when they want to know,
Right.
which is what I'm addressing at this point.
Okay.
We need to just like,
So sort of know ballpark time frame.
uh-huh.
All right. Okay, so are we about done here, and what do you folks, do you want me to schedule the next
I think
meeting?
you ought to do that for a company.
Mhm. I don't have a calendar. Do you want to go in 2 weeks? 2 weeks?
2
is-
weeks? No, I think, I actually think
14th to
that
20th.
yeah, we're getting right near the holidays. And it seems like right now we're sort of don't have any specific tasks. So if people are available for next week, with that,
That's the 13th.
yeah,
I am out of town.
you're out of
I will
town.
be, yes.
Can you Zoom?
I can Zoom.
Oh,
I think
Well,
I'm gonna go.
Would it be helpful if you met after the waterfront committee meets? And maybe the waterfront committee can have a little bit more of a solid conversation now that we know what we're doing and can give you a little bit more specific direction before you meet, and then you can have your conversations that you want to have. 'Cause we're meeting on the 15th, aren't we?
We need
Yeah.
at 5 next Tuesday.
I'm kind of picturing the first meeting as being more about gathering information about what the past work that's been done is, like looking at the marina proposal,
Mhm.
the slip proposal, when we,
It wouldn't be a bad idea to attend next week's
Yeah.
Waterfront Committee meeting.
Maybe
Is that-
that's the thing to do, is just come to our waterfront committee meeting and we'll
Yeah,
just, that'll be
Yeah,
an agenda item.
Because my big question is, I'm not totally clear on how we fit with the waterfront committee. So that would be really a super good idea.
Okay.
I like that idea. Is that Tuesday?
Tuesday at 5.
Tuesday, right, okay.
So I think really our hope is that you folks will help us with tasks and gathering information. So maybe you need more background and look at some of our reports. Things
that's
like
what I
that.
need. I need information. I
That's
can start going through.
Contact.
I'll send you the slip information and some contact information.
That would be great.
Are you gonna send it to
Everybody.
her, send it to the whole
Yeah.
group? Okay, good.
And next Tuesday's meeting at 5 is also on Zoom.
It's right here, yeah.
Well, then we'll just
Sound
plan on
good?
that as our next big full meeting. We'll just show
Sure.
up here.
Yep.
Committee meeting.
Perfect,
Okay,
Okay.
great.
excellent. That'll give us a chance to do some background.
Yeah, so in the meantime, I'll send you that information.
And also go down and take a look at the stuff. I mean, I've been down there, but I haven't really inspected
Set of
it.
standards.
No, I'm feeling the same way. I've been down there and I haven't. Wow.
I know the launch is. Because
It's pretty bad. Well, that's why, so that picture is kind of like our fantasy, hopeful situation. Because it's easy to use and low maintenance.
Is that the concrete one?
Yeah.
Temporarily.
I have other pictures, but.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, sure. Nobody said it's gonna be followed, but I didn't- I was gonna haul out.
I don't want to do it.
Oh, for-
I would encourage it.
He said he wanted to haul out, but it's too good.
No, we just need one.
Yeah.
That's no,
That was the last time I went. Well, I
Thank
was
you.
out
Listen, you two.
there last week, and he was hauling all those trucks.
Look at things you can do, really,
And you got,
you know,
gonna be power.
your own-
Oh,
Yeah, I like
Look at this.